How did I put menopause on the map? I actually have to give credit to my friend, Michelle Obama. She and I did a podcast about 3.5 years ago, and she is one of the first people who really admitted to having menopausal symptoms. And it was that conversation that she and I had that really got the ball rolling on the topic of menopause. Dr. Sharon, asking for a friend. Things have gone south in the bedroom, and not in a good way. What are my options? If you have vaginal dryness, painful intercourse, you haven't had a good night's sleep in the past 3 years, these are not things that are going to enhance your libido. So I think the simplest thing to do is to realize what are the things that are getting in the way of making you not be your best self. So let's address those hot flashes. Let's address that vaginal dryness. Let's make sure you get a good night's sleep. Maybe testosterone is something that can be used. Sometimes it's a bad relationship. How do you navigate medical gaslighting? I wish it weren't a thing, but it is. If you have the luxury of being in a place where there are other doctors to choose from, then look for another doctor or get recommendations from a friend, or go to the website menopause.org, which actually has listed menopause specialists who are in your area. This is certainly the appropriate place to go to a telehealth environment, someplace like Alloy Women's Health, where we do have trained menopause specialists. We are able to leverage the expertise of a few doctors over many, many women. And that is just not something you're going to be able to do on a one-on-one environment. Why is there not more information about perimenopause and menopause? Now, here's something to keep in mind. You have to know what is perimenopause to begin with. Perimenopause, or the menopausal transition, is that time between when you're in your peak fertility years and menopause. Imagine it's just like when your period starts. It doesn't start the same time for everyone, and there are a lot of individual as well as hereditary risk factors that may go into it. And we've also found that Black women go through menopause, believe it or not, earlier than majority white women do. Their symptoms, or that menopausal transition, lasts longer. So instead of 4 to 7 years, it can go on as long as 10 years. It can start as early as your mid-30s and as late as your late 40s. But I think it's fair to say that if you're in your 40s, you are perimenopausal, because all that means is you're within 4 to 10 years of having had your last menstrual period. Unfortunately, mothers don't generally talk to their daughters about menopause and perimenopause. And this is in contrast to what happens in puberty. Imagine there's a lot of conversation that goes around getting your first period. Everyone's excited. It's a cause for celebration. Even pregnancies are discussed. But when it comes to perimenopause, unfortunately, there's a lot of shame because it's associated with getting older. And no one really likes to admit that, and particularly for women in this culture. I think that not having that intergenerational conversation is the first reason why, because you don't even know to expect it. And the second reason is that even when you do know about perimenopause, or you complain to your doctor about the symptoms that may be associated, your doctor may not know about perimenopause and menopause. And that's the unfortunate thing. And that started, I think, about 20 years ago with a lot of the information and misinformation that came out of the Women's Health Initiative. And so we've got a generation of doctors who's really not been trained in perimenopause and menopausal care.